Hello.
Hi. I'm Katie Crutchfield.
I'm Kevin Morby, and this is Amoeba. What's in my bag at
home.
At home.
At our home in the morning.
We're about
Good
to
morning,
show
everyone. Okay, so my first selection here, it's called Death in Her Hands by Ottessa Moshfegh. I'm a really big fan of Ottessa Moshfegh's other books, My Year Rest and Relaxation, Eileen, Homesick for Another World. I think she is totally brilliant, and she's probably one of my favorite contemporary fiction writers. So she released this book earlier this year, and I bought it immediately, and I haven't read it yet, so I thought I would put it in my what's in my bag as a motivator to finally pick it up and read it.
I really love this cover.
I know, the cover's awesome. I love the colors.
I like that there's a little person. It looks very noir.
Yeah, I think it's a murder mystery, so it checks a lot of boxes for me.
I've been very into noir. I want to read this.
Yeah, well, maybe we could read it together.
Book club.
Book club.
Book club.
Okay.
Speaking of book club, my first pick is Under the Banner of Concern by the very talented Tim Presley. I'm very proud to call Tim a very old dear friend of mine. He has a band called White Fence, which has been actually on Amoeba, What's in My Bag, before the pandemic, and another band called Drinks. And not only is he a very talented musician, he's an incredibly talented visual artist, and I was so happy that he finally, has a book. There's also a lot of amazing poems in here, and there's a few pieces in here that were in an art show done by Drag City, his record label, that I actually bought, and they're hanging on our walls.
Yeah, you can see them there just behind the camera.
Yeah, maybe we'll edit them in or something. But they're also in here, which is really cool, and it's special to have some of the pieces in the book on our walls. And Tim is just an incredibly talented artist. He has a beautiful mind, and you can see that here. So I couldn't recommend this more. It's a wonderful book. Under the Banner of Concern, Tim Presley. Thank you, Tim.
My next one, I actually had to go and look on my first What's in My Bag and make sure I didn't include it, because it's one of my all-time favorite albums, Season of Glass by Yoko Ono. Yeah, this is just like a total classic record to me. It's sort of famously the first thing she made after John Lennon passed away. So you can see his glasses there on the cover.
Still bloody.
Yeah, still bloody. There's the glass half empty here.
Or
half full.
Or half full.
And yeah, it's just like a real triumph and like heartbreak music, I think. And Nobody Sees Me Like You Do is one of my favorite all-time songs. It's on this. It's, there's a lot of fucking cool achievement on this record, I think.
Yeah. It's one of the best album covers ever.
Yeah, totally. And it's got some great saxophone. It was the 80s after all.
Great sax.
Yeah, great record.
I like the first song. The first song's my favorite.
Yeah,
Goodbye Sadness, because you would think it's going to be such a, tragic, heart-wrenching record, but then she comes out of the gates swinging with Goodbye Sadness. She's not going to let sadness, take her.
Yeah. Classic.
Okay, my next record is Tenci, My Heart is an Open Field. This is a wonderful record. Tenci is a Chicago musician that I was unaware of until my buddy Tony, who has a record label out of Austin called Keeled Scales, sent me this album earlier this year just to check this new artist of his out. And I don't know, I really, really love this record. It's wonderful. And I don't know, I find the music very unique, the singing very unique, and it just really does something for me. I really have nothing to compare it to. I just think that it's kind of on its own tip, and I really, really enjoy it, and I couldn't recommend it more. So Tenci from Chicago, Keeled Scales from Austin. Thank you very much. I love this so much.
My next choice is Totally Crushed Out by That Dog. Yeah, this is kind of one of my early favorite records. If you don't know That Dog, they're a band from the 90s that are still making music. They're really amazing. It's a really unique band. It kind of puts a lot of elements together that maybe you wouldn't on paper think went together, but weirdly it goes together so beautifully. There's amazing 3-part harmonies, and there's violin and some other strings, and but it also has just like great 90s fun pop sounds, and yeah, it's just a super unique band, and this record specifically is kind of like the pinnacle to me. It was actually in a That Dog cover band. My sister Allison plays in That Dog now, and
That's cool.
yeah, they're just like one of my faves.
Speaking of the 90s, let's use that as a segue to my next record,
Yes.
which is Outkast Stankonia, which needs no introduction. I'm very happy to have this record on vinyl. It's been a huge record for me all of quarantine. I've been running a lot during quarantine, and my favorite song to run to of all time is Bombs Over Baghdad. And it's always the song that I put on when I think I'm about to, I'm not gonna be able to make it. Like I have one more mile to go and I'm just not gonna be able to do it. I put on Bombs Over Baghdad without fail every single time. I make it to the finish line. Andre 3000 is such an icon, such a hero of mine, and I just love everything about him. And I feel like this is the one. This is the record. Maybe that's not true. It's one of it.
They got a few. They definitely got a few.
Yeah, they got a few. The moment I said that, I was like, it's a part of the great whole that is Outkast.
Yes.
That is Andre 3000 Big Boy, and I love them so much, and I'm glad to have this on vinyl. And I listened to it the other day while I was cleaning the house, and it's just the best.
The best. My next one is The Artist's Way, Every Day, A Year of Creative Living by Julia Cameron. So The Artist's Way, if you're not familiar, is the original book is also by Julia Cameron, and it's basically like a spiritual approach to creative practice, and it offers up a lot of thoughts, ideas, prompts for just sort of how to stimulate that part of your mind and being. And this version of the book is really cool. It's sort of a different prompt every day, or idea or thought, and so you just kind of take in a little bit at a time. And I have found all of her writing to be super helpful to me when I have writer's block or anything like that. I kind of recommend this to a lot of people when they tell me that they have that stuff going on. So yeah, The Artist's Way, Every Day.
Artist's Way, it's great. Okay, my next item is Don't Think I've Forgotten, which is a soundtrack to a documentary, I believe, under the same name. Yeah, Don't Think I've Forgotten, Cambodia's Lost Rock and Roll. It's an incredible album. We were on vacation in Memphis, Tennessee earlier this year, and I went to Ghana Records, and they were playing this over the store, and I just had to have it, and it kind of hasn't left my turntable since. I'm obsessed with this thing, and there's not a bad song on it, and you can really tap into it, or it can be like perfect in the background. It's just incredible music, and it's all from an era in Cambodia when they were making it, like there's the whole lineage to this that I love, in that they were making music that was very influenced by French rock and roll, and then people in France were making rock and roll that was very influenced by American rock and roll. And I just love when you can see the breadcrumb trail of music throughout different cultures, and how it changes shape, but always kind of the essence and the roots of it is always there. And this is a great snapshot of that, and great documentary, and just amazing music. Can't go wrong with this. So thank you, Ghana Records.
Okay, I have one more. This is my last one. Townes Van Zandt, For the Sake of the Song. I think this was the first Townes album I ever heard. This record kind of speaks for itself, honestly. It's so classic. Some of my favorite Townes songs and some of the most classic Townes songs are on it. And yeah, Townes Van Zandt is I feel like, important artist for me. And Kevin, when we first got together, we went and visited his grave. And both are just like huge fans of his songwriting and his spirit, and one of our favorites.
He's one of the goats. I'll Be There in the Morning.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
What a song. What a song to side to.
Oh, so good.
For the Sake of the Song.
For the Sake of the Song. The title track is one of my favorites of all time.
Waiting Around to Die.
Wow.
Brutal.
Just that title is it'll knock you over.
A classic. Okay. My last but not least item is a book called Enjoy the Experience. It is, I guess you would call it like an art book or coffee table book, but our good friend Mike Kroll, Katie's brother-in-law Mike Kroll, told me about this book. And it's all art and stories of private pressing records. And it's my favorite art book that I've ever had. And I own many of them, but this one you can just completely get lost in. And there's so many stories and so many amazing obscure album covers, and I just love, you know, what comes out of some of these, you know,
I love that one.
situations. And private press records are, there's, you know, it's almost like baseball cards or something, you know, they're like such collector's items, and this is just a book that displays so many beautiful ones. And I mean, you know, look at this stuff. It's just great.
Look at this stuff. You're my best friend, Robin.
You're my best friend, Robin. And the stories behind them are just as interesting as the art itself. And yeah, I find this very inspiring, and just, it's a lot of fun to look at. So thank you, Mike Kroll, and thank you to whoever made this book. Couldn't recommend it more.
Good stuff.
Enjoy the experience. Yeah. Amoeba at home.
Amoeba at home, that's all we have for you.
That's all we have.
Thank you for watching and listening, and
Hope you're safe.
hope you're safe and healthy.
Yeah. And take care of yourselves, and see ya.
Bye.
Amoeba.